Hello all. I'm out today, so I thought we'd go over some examples so you've got this and you can rewind, review, pause, ignore, whatever you need to do. This is the last example from yesterday's notes. I'm not sure if we're going to get to it when I'm recording this, and we haven't in the past, so I thought we'd go through this one first, and then we can do a couple more examples, and then you can have some time to work. So this is one of those ones where the labels are given to you, most of them, and then you can start filling in the rest of the numbers. So consider the following results from 200 randomly selected freshmen through seniors. So right now, you know that the total is 200. In fact, let's even get out a highlighter. So 200 randomly selected freshmen through seniors. So right now, I find it easier to go through and fill in the chart as we go. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I know some people like to read through everything first and then do it. I find that that tends to get more confusing, but we can see where things go. First column, or first comment. Of the 60 freshman students selected, so we've got 60 freshmen. So that's going to go here. So freshmen come over here total. We have 60 freshmen total. 20 of them played intramural basketball. 10 played chess. 10 were in jazz band. The rest did not participate in the after-school program. So intramural basketball, we had 20. Chess club, we had 10. Jazz band, we had 10. Now there's a column here. We still have people. There's obviously 20 plus 20, 10 plus 10 has to equal 60. And in some ways, I mean, you can go, 20 plus 10 plus 10 equals 60. So first of all, here we have to name this. That means there was none or no extracurriculars there. Actually, let's call it nothing maybe. So how many people did nothing? Well, how many people are left over here? How many freshmen are left over? We had 20 and 10 and 10. Okay, that equals 40. So 60 minus the 40 is going to give me 20. And that's going to be a lot of what you do on these is you see what's left over. You may have like one blank left open, and then you have to do some subtraction of everything else that you know. So like here, of the seniors, 10 did not participate in the after-school program. So we're down here in the seniors, so that's 10. Again, maybe let's highlight some interesting information. 10 did not participate. 20 played basketball. 8 were in jazz band, and the rest played chess. I'm going to do that in green down here, I think. Try to match them up. So 10 did nothing. 20 played basketball. 8 were in the jazz band. Uh-oh. We know how many seniors there are total. So the senior students 10 did not participate. So we can't fill out anything else because we have 2 blanks. So we'll come back to that because some of the stuff hopefully we will learn of, we'll know how many people are in chess club, total. So we'll know like this one and this one and this one, so we can figure out the seniors that way. Or maybe what we'll end up doing is that we'll know over here in the totals, we'll know the total sophomores, total juniors, and then we can figure out where the seniors go after that. So anyway, let's go back to our highlighter. We will do blue now. Of the 50 sophomores, that's important. 12 play basketball, 8 were in jazz band, 10 were in chess club. The rest did not participate. So 50 sophomores, that's my total down over here. 12 played basketball. 8 were in jazz band. 10 were in chess club. And we don't know the rest. Well, remember, all of this whole column here, this plus this plus this, is going to equal 50. So 10 plus, so again, here we've got 12 plus 10 is 22, plus 8 is 30, so this is going to be 50 minus 30. So that's going to give me 20 on that one. Juniors, what color do I have left here in my highlighters? I can do purple, I can do yellow. We'll do purple, I guess. Of the juniors, 26 played basketball, 5 were in chess club, 12 were in jazz band, and 7 did not participate. So in that case, we don't know what the total is. But we do know this. We know that 26 played here, 5 were in chess club, 12 were in jazz band, and 7 did not participate. So in this case, we know that. We just don't know the total. So you're going to add up all of that. So 26 plus 5 is 31, plus 12 is 43, plus 7 is 50. So there were a total of 50 juniors picked. Now, we ran out of information. However, did we really? Because here, remember, we know that this over here, those all equal 200. So in terms of the seniors, I'm going to take this 200, because we know there are 200 kids total, minus the 50 and 50 and 60. So that's going to be 160 there. So that's going to leave me with 40 seniors. And now the cool part there is that since I know that I've got 20 here, and 8 here, and 10 here, and that all has to equal 40, the number of seniors playing chess club, it's going to be the total of 40 minus the 38, which I got from 20 plus 8 plus 10. So that's going to leave me with 2 seniors in chess club. And then how do you find the totals for each of these? You add them up. So 20 plus 12 plus 26 plus 20. Let's see, that's what, 40, 60, 78. 78 kids out of the 200 play basketball. Here we have a 27. Just again, remember, this is total. Total means you add up everything. 27, add all that up. Here we're going to end up, if I go 10 plus 8 plus 12 plus 8, I'm going to end up with 32. And then 20 plus 20 plus 7 plus 10 is 57. Now check this. 78 plus 27 plus 32 plus 57 should equal 200. That is a good way to double check that you didn't make any mistakes. If it doesn't, you made a mistake. Go figure it out. And it's going to be in one of these places. And if you make a mistake, it's going to be in one of these places here. It's going to be, here. It's going to be the places where we did the calculations. Here, here, this one too, then we did here. So, you're going to check one of those places to see if you made a mistake there. Okay? So let's use this information to double check. Oh, there it is. Some questions. Wow, that was loud in my headset. Just saying. All right, so cut that out. Cut. And go to the next page. Here are all our questions. So you're going to use this information to answer the questions. Now, again, remember, sometimes it's going to be straight numbers. Sometimes you're going to end up finding percentages. So, which grade level has was most represented in the survey? Well, which one had the most people there? So you can say the freshmen. 9th graders. How many were there? 60. How many total students participate in jazz band? Okay. So a lot of this is going down and going through and answering questions here. The more important ones in some respects is this. What percent of students did not participate in after-school programs? So that's going to be 57 divided by 200. Because again, look at what we're asking for. Of students, that means everybody, did not participate. So this is everything, all, did not participate in the after-school program. So that means that 57 total divided by 200 total. And so when you divide that out, we're going to multiply it through by 100. This is a percentage. You're going to end up with 28.5%. Which grade level had the most students who participated in intramural basketball? Again, look to see who had the most. And again, if they're talking about most and not a percentage, then just go by straight numbers. How many, true or false? More seniors participate in chess and club. Okay. What percentage of sophomores played intramural basketball? So here, what's the group that we're talking about down here? What percent of the sophomores? Okay, this is my whole played intramural basketball. So in this case here, we don't care about everybody. All we're caring about, to be honest right now, is just the sophomores. So how many sophomores do we have total? 50. So we had 50 sophomores here. And how many play basketball? 12. And percentages that we're going to be having here is always going to be less than 100%. So you're going to have 12 divided by 50. And so you then multiply that through by 100. So you can get 24%. So again, identify the group. How many juniors are represented in this survey? Okay, well, in this survey, this is my whole. How many people were in the survey? That's 200. How many of them were juniors? Oh, actually, that was just even percentage. I'm sorry, I misread that. So that would just be 50. Okay. So it's really important that you read carefully enough that you don't miss some of the more little specific things. All right, so that was the first example from yesterday. I'll try to make a note to skip ahead to whatever time moment this is if you don't need to do that. So the first example on the new worksheet that you guys are going to go work through, I want to go through 2 more examples and then you guys can get started on some homework, is this. 200 students were surveyed about what foreign language they were taking as an elective. Of the total of 120 students who take Spanish, 70 were boys. Of the 110 students surveyed, 15 take German. 2 boys surveyed are taking French. So in this case here, again, highlight your information. Now this one, notice there's no columns here, or there's no labeling things out here at all. So some of what you're going to have to do, you've got 200 students. Okay, what are the characteristics? Characteristics. Remember, when you can't spell anything, simply change the word. So you've got traits, right? So we've got male, female, so we got boys and girls. And then we've got, what is the other thing we're doing? We've got so we've got gender and we've got language. And our languages are French, German, and Spanish. So in terms of setting up the table, we've got 2 items over here. So we've got 1, 2 places here, so that's going to be where our gender goes. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 spaces across the top, which is going to be our languages. So let's see, who did they mention first? 70 are boys. Okay, so we'll put them first. So we got boys and girls. And then we've got Spanish is mentioned first in the dialogue. And then we talked about German. And we talked about French. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter what order you put these in, just so long as you've got 1 trait across the top and 1 trait down the sides. So that's consistent. Like I couldn't put boys up here with French and German. And then the other thing that I found is that if you just put them in order as you see them in the problem, that's usually the easiest way to keep things in order, but you don't have to do that. You can put them in whatever order you'd like. So, of the 120 students who take Spanish, I'm just going to do this by underline. 120 students take Spanish. So under Spanish, that's 120 of them. 70 of those students were boys. So I have 70 students who are taking Spanish. How many students are girls who take Spanish? Obviously, 70 plus 20. 70 plus something equals 120. So this is going to end up being, I'll do this in a different color here, 120 minus 70. So that means that this is going to be 50. There's 110 girls surveyed. So 110 girls surveyed, so that's now a different total. 110 surveyed. So that means that girls equal 110. 15 of those girls take German. So that goes here. So now again, we've got 1 row complete with everything but 1 space. And so that means we can solve out for that other space. So just like before, we know that there's 110 girls, 50 plus 15 plus this French number is going to give us 110. So 110 minus 65 is going to give us 45 French-speaking girls. 2 boys surveyed are taking French. Oh, I forgot to put down the 200 surveyed down here. Is that what you guys are yelling about? My deepest apologies. So 2 boys are taking French, so 2 boys are here. So now we have a row here that we can figure out because 2 plus 45 is going to be 47. Now, while we don't have any more information in the paragraph, notice how everything starts to fall together. So in this case here, I've got this row here is going to have to be the 200 minus 120 minus the 47 because that whole row, the number of students is going to be the total Spanish speakers, the total German speakers, the total French speakers. So you're going to go through 200 minus 120 is 80. 80 minus 47 is going to be 33. Whoa, that's the eraser. Forgot to change back. So what do we say? 23? 33. So if we have 33 people taking German, we can go backwards and figure out how many boys are taking German. And that's a total of 18. Because again, you're working your way backwards. Because here, we knew the 33, and we took minus 15. That's how we came up with that 18. And then 70 plus 18 plus 2 is going to give me 90, which is going to be the, oh my goodness gracious. It's going to be 90 right here. Okay. Now check here. Going down this way, 90 plus 110 equals 200. Check. Check going across. 120 plus 33 plus 47 equals 200. Check. And then you can start filling out the answers. How many boys were surveyed? Ooh, let's see. Boys, total, 90. Ta-da! How many total students take French? French, total, down, 47. How many boys, do more boys take French or German? So you're looking like, they take German. There's like 18 boys taking German. Of all the students, what percent of girls are taking Spanish? Notice I have percent bolded here. That means, again, it's going to be part percent. That means 4 every 100. For those of you in French class, speaking of it. Cent, 100. Percent for 100. So in this case here, how many girls are taking Spanish? Now here, this is of all the students. So that means that this is my whole. So I've got my whole of 200 students here. Girls taking Spanish. How many girls are taking Spanish? Oh, that's going to be 50. So I'm going to take 50 divided by 200, and then I'm going to multiply that by 100, because again, it's percent. It rhymes with a croissant. And so then I'm going to get 25%. Now this is different. Of only the girls, now here's my new whole. How many girls are we talking about here? Oh, well, we're talking about 110 girls. Okay. Of them are taking Spanish. Again, still the same 50 girls, but we're looking at them in terms of a different group. We're not looking in terms of them in terms of the whole student body. We're looking at them in terms of just the girls. So same idea, 50 divided by 110. And then you multiply that by 100. And if I'm doing the math in my head correctly, I believe that's going to be 47.5% the time around it. And usually you can go to one decimal place, it's fine, if I don't tell you otherwise. All right. 18 minutes of fun. Let's see if we can get to 20. Last problem. This was a little different, because this one, we're not giving you the straight numbers. You got to kind of compile the data together. So again, what are the categories here? At the end of a court case, a jury was polled. The lawyer took notes and each read their decision based on if they were female or male. So we've got two characteristics. You're going to say, is it female or male? And then you're going to say, is it guilty, not guilty? So I've got female and male. And then we've got guilty and not guilty. So in this case now, we've got to tally these up. Now you could, if you wanted to, do this all separately. I'm fine with you just kind of doing it here as long as you have enough room to read, because we only have 12 of these. So we have a male who said guilty. Male said guilty. Female said guilty. So this one is male guilty. This one is female guilty. So I'm going to put there in that one. Male not guilty is over here. Male not guilty here, female guilty, here, female guilty, here, female not guilty is there, male not guilty goes there, female not guilty, male. For those guys wondering why it's not unanimous, this would be something known as a hung jury, which would mean that you didn't know exactly how, that they couldn't come to a conclusion. So in this case here, the total number of females. So I've got 4 females who said the person was guilty, 2 males who said the person was guilty, 3 females who said not guilty, 3 males who said not guilty. So it was so now you can total them up. 6 people total guilty verdict, 6 not guilty. There happened to be 7 females on the jury and 5 males. So did more females or males rule guilty? Females. Because 4 is bigger than 2. What percent of the males ruled not guilty? So what percent of the males? So in that case here, we've got 5. How many people said not guilty? 3. So 3 divided by 5 times 100. So 60% of the men said not guilty. Of all that ruled guilty, what percent of them were male? So of all that ruled that are guilty, so that means that there is a total of 6 male. There's only 2 in that group. So I've got 2 out of 6 times 100. That's going to equal 33.3%. And the reason why you'd want to do something like this is, I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, if you're a lawyer, you're going to say, well, wait a second. If you look at that, more men said not guilty than women in terms of percentages. So if you had to retry this, because in a mistrial you would, you could then say, well, maybe I'll have more men on the jury. So anyway, so that's some thoughts. The next 2 problems are for you to do, so please go ahead and get those started. We'll check on those tomorrow. Thanks for your attention. We'll talk to you later. Welcome to second semester.